Hi, good afternoon all. Myself, Rahul. I'm the product manager for RiskProfiler with Bulwark. Welcome to today's webinar on managing external threats in 2025 by RiskProfiler. Along with me, I have Mr. Setu Parimi, who is the co-founder and CTO with RiskProfiler. Setu, over to you further. You.
Yeah, sure. Hey, thanks a lot, Rahul, for putting this together. Totally appreciate it, mate. Hello, everyone. My name is Setu. I'm the co-founder and CTO of RiskProfiler, and I'm here to just give a quick talk around why external threats are very important and becoming very dangerous in 2025. So let me share my screen real quick, and then you can able to see what I'm about to talk.
Another quick thing which I would just like to highlight prior to your starting is, so all the audience also, we would want you to just address your questions in the chat panel addressed to all the panelists. And in case you would want us to, follow up, with regards to your requirements also, it would be great to, fill up the feedback evaluation form at the end of the webinar. It will help us to understand your requirements and also enable us to, just follow up in terms of your requirements in future. Over to you now.
Okay. Thanks
Thank
a
you.
lot. Thanks a lot. So basically, your questions need to come at the end in the form of a chat, and I'm happy to answer as many as questions that you can shoot them out. So thank you so much, guys. Yeah. Once again, so I'm Setu Parimi. I'm the co-founder and CTO of RiskProfiler. I have been an application security and penetration tester engineering guy since my school days. So eventually, I became a cloud security architect working for big organizations like Amazon Web Services, Barclays, HSBC, Santander kind of organizations in terms of being a cloud security architect, improving their cloud security posture. And I am more of a guy who is a security practitioner who got converted into a cybersecurity startup founder. And I'm right now wearing a rookie hat of being a CTO, managing all things tech, research, and development at RiskProfiler. In my free time, I do publish a lot of security research, being a speaker and trainer at security conferences like Black Hat, B-Sides, DEF Insights kind of conferences, and being an open source cybersecurity uh, engineering toolkit kind of a contributor for many open source projects so far, and always a security engineer by heart. And I have a quick question for the audience today. If you can put the responses in the chat, it would be very much appreciated as well. The question is very simple. There is one type of threat because of which 87% of the breaches are happening. So, what is that one type of threat? Is the question. It can be any type of threat. It can be you are very familiar with that type of a threat. So, if you want to make some guesses, this is the right time. So, just put the responses in the chat if you are aware of it. And by the way, this metric has been published by a very popular ransomware. Okay, we got ransomware as one of the answer from Imran. I mean, that's very close, and it's also part of it basically. So it's very close. Very good. This metric has been published by Verizon DBIR Data Breach Investigations Report 2024. So every year, Verizon publishes a report which is called as a DBIR report. And in that report, they have mentioned this year that last year it was 83% and this year it is 87%. And I'm going to reveal the answer now. The answer is external threats. So basically, anything that is external facing in your organization is the reason for 87 percentage of the breaches that are happening across the globe. And you may ask a question like, why is external threat uh, the main reason? And is it very hard for security engineers and security teams to tackle the external threats? The solution for that is yes, external threats are complex because external threats can come in so many different ways. So one way is based on the fake applications that are out there. One is based off internet facing resources that belongs to your organization having vulnerabilities, first party risk, third party risk, supply chain risks, and your organization may be in a retail industry and there can be a lot of counterfeit products that are coming out there. There can be a lot of ransomware threats that are happening because of these external facing assets having some vulnerabilities, and your organization's executives are being targeted with impersonations, fake accounts, fake profiles. Your organization social media handles are being targeted with typo squad domains and a lot of different type of. And because of this individual reason, external threats are complex. And there are so many solutions to tackle these external threats, but not a single unified platform. The reason why it is we do, for example, one type of external threat is because of your own organization's external facing assets having vulnerabilities. So there is a module or there's a vertical called as external attack surface management vertical, and that identifies your internet facing assets, the vulnerabilities in them, the shadow IT assets, and all these things. And there is also another type of solution called as third party risk management. Even this solution has a lot of organizations, a lot of vendors, and what they try to solve is identify and help these organizations do due diligence in the third party vendors, because third party vendors are also external threats. There is also something called as digital risk protection, brand monitoring. So your organization is always targeted by fake apps, data leaks, impersonations, and ton of different these type of things. So with these many different type of solutions, solving one type of threat, which is basically external threat, it becomes a pain for a lot of security teams to tackle multiple solutions, which is giving multiple insights, but not a holistic, context aware kind of a solution. And that's the reason why we started building RiskProfiler. We want the organization security teams to forget switching between multiple tools to just tackle one type of threat, which is the external threat. And that's the reason of building RiskProfiler. So we are an external threat exposure management platform. We only deal with external threats that belongs to an organization or that are being targeted against an organization. And what we do is three things. We do third party risk management, we do digital risk protection, we do external attack surface management under one unified platform using one graph database to give you all the attack paths. So I'll quickly touch base on one on these modules one by one, and if you have any questions, keep shooting them in the chat. I'll answer all of them at the end of the session. So the first module is cyber risk management. So let me just quickly log into our platform. So once we log into the platform, we have a lot of different types of external threats over here. So we identify a lot of different type of vulnerabilities, which are basically the first party risks. We identify the security threats of an organization. We identify the vulnerabilities that belongs to an organization, and we classify these vulnerabilities based on high, medium, lows. So there are some similar products that are out there in the market that do security ratings right now, but they have been doing it for ages now. So they have started somewhere like in 25 2020, yeah, 2015 or something, and they have been doing it in an outdated traditional way, and the just A B C D E F kind of grades do not cut anymore with the modern cloud native threats. And that is the reason we started building out RiskProfiler. Here you get security ratings which are in depth, in terms of finding these threats and reporting you against these threats. On the other side, we also identify all these third parties being managed under one unified platform. So all your third party vendors, subsidiaries, prospecting organizations can be managed, and anytime if there is a security rating changed that belongs to an organization, so RiskProfiler will automatically go ahead and send out something called as security questionnaires to them. So we have a lot of different types of questionnaires that are out of the box that you can send to your organization's third party vendors. At the same time, we also have few organizations, I mean, few standard questionnaires that are built by us, and you can also customize your own questionnaires by uploading your own Excel sheets into the platform. So the beauty of RiskProfiler is instead of just sending out a simple question and getting a response back from a third party vendor, RiskProfiler also does something called as auto validation, which is basically if a third party vendor is telling you, yes, we do encrypt all of our data in transit, RiskProfiler will tell that no, there is you have some things in place to protect the data being transmitted over an encrypted channel, but there are some findings which are non-compliant stuff. Then you can always go ahead and flag them and create a remediation task and push them out for the third party vendor to be remediated. So once they've remediated, you can always go ahead and approve that third party vendor, or you can provide a contingent approval, or you can say like, no, this is not up to the par, they have to make sure they have decent security controls. You can reject it, or you can send back to the vendor because the responses were not good enough. So this is basically the vendor risk management module of the risk profile platform. If I go back, there are several cool features in the platform, but like remediation plans, going ahead and mapping the compliance requirements, there are amazing features. But in respective of time, we can, if you're interested, like, we can always, you can always reach out to Rahul, and happy to dive deep and at a more technical perspective. So that's the cyber risk module of the platform. So you may ask why vendor risk management is important. The most important thing is vendors require access to the internal resources that belongs to your organization. Some way or other, they need a VPN connection to your network, or they have their employees coming to your organization through some remote connectivity and then getting access to your network, or they have access to your data lakes, they have access to your critical infrastructure. Somehow or other, third party vendors do require access to your internal resources. And that is the reason we started building security ratings to understand how much critical a vendor is. And we can also go ahead and understand how many third party vendors you can monitor at scale. You can also send third party risk questionnaires to them and assess them. So security ratings are good, but if you want to get more details, you can make them answer and let risk profiler evaluate them. And we also have some managed offerings where you can go ahead and get the managed third party risk management to help speed up this third party risk management process. That's pretty much it about the third party risk management module of risk profiler. Now getting into the brand risk protection. So you may also ask, like, okay, why is brand risk very important? So organizations are right now facing so many threats from surface web, deep web, and dark web. And we need some good solutions that can help identifying all these threats and map it to the some context and help us remediate them. And that's the reason why we built Risk Profiler's brand intelligence module. Using this, you have the capability to go ahead and identify a lot of brand abuses. And Risk Profiler doesn't dump you like thousands and thousands of findings wherever your organization's keyword is mentioned. Instead, our machine learning algorithms and artificial intelligence models helps us to go ahead and identify the actual threats that you need to focus on. So I remember a situation where we onboarded an digital risk production dark web monitoring tool, and then the cost of the tool is like somewhere like a couple of $100,000, and then we had to hire an security analyst, giving him $100,000 to go ahead and track the findings in that solution, because these, I mean, the current traditional digital risk production tools are all about the keywords. But let's assume there is an organization called as Target. So one of our largest customer in the retail industry have a very common name. And the question from Biju is this a threat intelligent platform on, I mean, I'll come back to your question at the end, definitely, Biju. Thanks for shooting out the question. Totally appreciate it. So we find a lot of brand threats that belongs to an organization. And these brand threats can be easily taken down using risk profilers domain takedown as a service. We can take down copyright infringement, impersonations, phishing attacks, malware attacks, fake apps that are out there, trademark infringements, your private data leaked on GitHub or any other sources. We identify, and we not just notify you, we also take them down as well. On the other side, we identify a lot of fake domains that belongs to your organization. If on a daily basis, we scan 300 plus million domains, and these 300 plus million domains have ton of vulnerabilities and ton of misconfigurations, and they also have so many similar names to the domains that belongs to your organization, and those domain names can be used for several malicious attacks. So we identify all these things, and then we help you also in automating the inspection process. So how similar is that type of squad domain to your organization's domain? Is it exactly same? Is it having the same logo? Is it having the same favicon? Like, we have like 18 different factors to give this similarity percentage, and based on the similarity percentage, you can always speed up your triaging process. You can always take down, and you can push it out to some you can push it out to third party risk managements, and also you can also push it out to the takedown process. Next thing is email breaches. many organizations do have a ton of leaks in the dark web, and these credentials are very likely used for targeting your organization by the hackers. Risk Profiler, on a every hourly basis, we ingest gigabytes of data and analyzes them. If there are any leaks that belongs to your organization, we notify you guys. So we identify the passwords that are breached, and we help our customers notified to make sure they can go out and reset the credentials of that individual user and these type of things. And we also identify phishing pages. We identify a ton of dark web mentions. So just in case if you don't like to use the curated information from us, you also have access to the raw data as well, where you can go ahead and see all your compromised data and social media, surface web, deep web, and dark web threats, so that all this information can be widely used by your organization security analyst teams to dive much more deeper in terms of the dark web intelligence that we have in place. So that's pretty much what RiskProfiler does in the digital risk protection module. We identify all these brand risks. We help executives in all these fake personas and targeted account takeover targets. So we help a lot of executives in their social media profiles, in their online presence, protecting them. And we also identify the fake applications. We identify the type of squads. We monitor your brand for any sentiment analysis, any bad sentiment is happening, too many targets are happening on social media. We identify them. We identify the data leaks in code repositories, dark web dumps, security breaches, paste sites, credentials, emails, a ton of different places. We also do identify domain takedowns. Sorry, we also do domain takedowns. So the entire brand module is revolving around this one particular module called as domain takedowns, which is a remediation kind of a module. And we don't just take down those domains, we also disrupt the domain by getting it blocked at an ISP level and a lot of different things. At any given point of time, if you want to dive deep and you want to see the entire module in depth, happy to jump on a call as well. So that's pretty much it about the brand risk management. Coming to the third vertical of risk profiler, third pillar of risk profiler, which is external attack surface management. What we do is we go ahead and identify a lot of intelligence about an organization. For example, if you guys want to go ahead and rob a bank, so what is the first thing that you want to do if you want to rob a popular bank in your country? Just like anyone, right? What you do is you see what are the entry points, what are the exit points, and what are the you gather a lot of intelligence about that individual bank in your locality. In the same way, hackers also do the same thing in identifying your organization's attack surface and creating mind maps to make sure in what are the different ways that they can compromise. So just with your domain name, Risk Profiler can help you identify all your domains, all your subdomains, IP addresses, trackers, login URLs, and a ton of different types of assets. Every asset has a ton of information in terms of what is there, what are the screenshots, discovery paths, risks, and a lot of different information is present in each and every type of asset that RiskProfiler identifies. And as of today, we are scanning more than 300 plus million domains, and that's domains. If you calculate the subdomains and the IP addresses and all these things associated, it goes to billions. So we scan billions of IP addresses, and just for the cloud data storage costs, we pay millions of dollars in terms of cost. So we have a ton of data about threat intelligence. We have a ton of data about dark web intelligence feeds, a ton of data about the internet feeds. We have a ton of information about the brand threats. So all this data is being collected, and it is also curated to make sure you get some context around what attack path and hacker takes to compromise your organization. And I'll be showing it at the end of the session, definitely. So talking about the next gen uh, external attack surface management, we have something called as cloud attack surface management module. So in cloud, it's very ephemeral. The resources are ephemeral, and it's you can't wait for hours to make sure days or hours to make sure which resource is public. There are so many cloud security posture management tools that identify which assets in your cloud environment are actually public. However, it's very complex because these cloud security posture management tools look at a resource level configuration and then try to find them. But in reality, there is a lot of context around it. So even if the simple EC2 server is private or is it is public based on the security group, that individual EC2 server in AWS environment can be in a private subnet, can be in a private VPC, can be in an egress only internet gateway VPC. So there are so much of context that is required to determine whether an asset is actually public or private. RiskProfiler does exactly that. We have very powerful cloud connectors that most of the CSPM tools do not have as of today in terms of onboarding. You can onboard hundreds of AWS accounts, hundreds of Google Cloud projects within minutes into the platform, and RiskProfiler will exactly tell you how many resources that are actually public in your cloud environment. So we don't do like CAS benchmark scans. We don't do that. We only care about one type of asset, as I've told earlier, only the assets that are internet facing, that are the external threats. So we only identify the external facing resources which are heavily targeted by hackers, and we exactly pinpoint them. The reason why we built this module is I was doing a lot of help consulting work to big financial services organizations. Name the bank in the EMEA region, I have worked with them. Every organization has a level 3 or level 4 cloud security maturity level. Still, their cloud security solutions tell them that they have 10,000 resources that are internet facing. In reality, when you do all the tunings and fine grabbing all these things, in reality, it's just only thousands or sometimes in hundreds the resources that are actually public. So Risk Profiler saves ton of time in identifying these external facing assets and helping you in saving a lot of triaging time and working on the prioritized tasks rather than doing 17 hours of triaging work just to see which individual asset is public or private in the first place. That's not the job of a security analyst. That's the job of a solution that is automating a lot of work. So, I mean, yeah, that's what we do. We have cloud connectors and we have an internet inventory of your entire organization. And you may ask a question, Setu, there are third-party risk management solutions, there are external attack surface management solutions, there are brand risk monitoring or digital risk protection or threat intelligence products. How are we different? How the heck is risk profile different? So that's a question that I ask myself every day. At the same time, I want to tell you guys how are we different. So imagine, I mean, if you go back almost like a decade, in 2015, the cloud security space started booming up, and the solution space started booming up. The first thing that came out was cloud security posture management, then came cloud security workload protection, then came cloud security entitlement protection, then serverless container security, Kubernetes cluster security. And all these tools do one thing in common, and that one thing is cloud security. And now all these tools are merged together and they are being calling them as CNAP, Cloud Native Application Protection Platform. In the same way, Risk Profiler is also a platform, a unified platform that does all things external threats. So you can think Risk Profiler as a whiz of external threats. So we do a lot of external threat exposure management, and the way how we do it is by our unified intelligence platform. So we do collect a lot of intelligence from so many sources, which is terabytes of data as of today. And that data is pushed into a single graph database. And in a graph database, everything is a node and an entity which has a relationship. And now we have an attack path created telling you how an attacker can compromise your organization. So showing you this module is basically the attack path analysis module. So we identify a lot of attack paths rather than giving you list based vulnerabilities, which requires a lot of triaging in most of the time. We give you the validated attack paths that a hacker can take to compromise your organization. This is an amazing module and I'm happy to dive deep. If you are interested, always reach out. So we do identify a lot of different types of threats. You can have all these nodes and you can expand these things and point, and you can, it's complete graph database. It's an amazing powerful solution, and this information is collected from external risks in terms of third party risks, in terms of brand risk, in terms of external attack surface risk. Because I have been a penetration tester. If I want to hack an organization, I don't just go with the external attack surface data. I need to go with something else, which is also the compromised credentials, which is brand monitoring. And I also need to find something else, which is like what are the third party vendors this organization is using. That's third party risk management or supply chain intelligence. With all this, we are trying to solve one problem: how a hacker can compromise your organization using the external threats as a unified platform. So with the help of Risk Profiler, you can always help yourself in protecting your supply chain third party ecosystem and your organization's first party risks and the brand risk and the third party risk as well. So that's pretty much it about Risk Profiler, and I'm happy to take the questions one by one in the chat. So let me stop sharing the screen and I'll come back to the question section over here. Okay, where is the chat section? Okay, it's here. Let me expand the chat section over here. Okay, ready. So we have one question from Biju. So Biju, the question is this a threat intelligence platform or it's an external attack surface management platform? Very good question. So we do, for example, right, we right now do dark web monitoring that gives you a lot of threat intelligence feeds from the dark web about your organization. And it's more of a kind of a gray area right now. So the way how solution providers are taking, Gartner initially coined it as threat intelligence. Dark web comes under threat intelligence, but right now a lot of brand monitoring solutions are also having the dark web monitoring it. So it's like just like how most of the Gartner verticals do have overlap between them, the same way we do have overlap as well. So in terms of creating solutions and helping customers out, we initially started as an brand risk monitoring solutions that identifies counterfeit products, helping top retail brands take down all these things. And then we also like, okay, we are scraping the entire internet, we are getting intelligence from the dark web, why can't we go ahead and integrate that and provide it as a solution? So that's how we came out, and we have been doing it for the past 1.5 year. Top retail banks in USA are our customers right now, retail organizations are customers right now. And in Canada, the largest MSP in Canada with 40,000 customers is our customer. They use this profile for 40,000 customers of theirs as a managed offering. And there is also a telecom provider that is largest. There's like Airtel or Reliance in India is it's an equivalent to that in the US and Canada. So they are also our customers. So we give that information to them. And we have a second question from Pavan, which is basically, so I think with my Azure workloads, would it show me which path the attacker might take through my public RDP port? Yes, you're right. So we get the context right, Pavan. Once we get the context, what we find is, okay, this is an individual instance that is exposed to the internet, and then we automatically mind map them. Okay, this instance is having an role, Azure RBAC role, that is having through Azure blobs. So it's having to Azure access to Azure blobs. We show that attack path from end to end kind of a thing. So we do that right now. The next question is, what's required to be an MSSP? I didn't get the question right, but if you can rephrase it, I can answer that question by Biju. So if the question is like, okay, how to provide the service? Okay, how to provide service as an MSSP? Okay, got it. So the question is basically, okay, I am an MSSP and I want to use RiskProfiler to provide services to my customers. That's how the Canada's largest MSP is doing right now. So they do something called as managed third-party risk management. They do something called as managed digital risk protection or managed dark web monitoring. So they do these type of managed services using risk profiles. So we are in the business of building amazing tech and amazing product which can be leveraged both by the enterprise customers and our partners that are like managed service providers, managed security service providers as of today. And I'm happy to dive deep in a different conversation as well. Perfect. I think back to you, Rahul.
Yeah, thanks, Hetu. And a couple of questions from my side as well. So, is there any minimum terms of domains? Like you start from one domain, or like?
Oh, that's very good. So we, for MSSPs, right, we do
Yeah.
something as an pay as you go kind of a model. So we do start with from one asset to 200 assets. That's how, we have the pay as you go model. So it can be as small as possible. It can be as big as possible. So we are a complete serverless stack. We can scale 2,000. We can scan thousands and thousands of assets within seconds, to be honest. Yeah.
Okay. Second question: when it comes into takedowns,
Yeah.
how we are different from other competitive solutions?
The way how we are different is a lot of traditional takedown folks, they do something called as they send out takedown notices to all these hosting providers, ISP providers, and then registrars, and then they expect them to return back. So the way how we are different is we have a lot of customers who have brand threats, counterfeit domains, typo squad domains in country hosted in countries where there are no internet laws. So in that kind of a situation, there is no way that you can go ahead and take down by sending out DMC takedown notices. The way how we are different is we go ahead and take them down with the help of the traditional approaches. On top of it, we do something called as domain disruption. So we have partnerships with top ISP providers, a lot of DNS resolvers providers, and then we do get them blacklist in hundreds of threat intel feeds within seconds. And in some situations, we have seen once we started the domain takedown process and the domain disruption process completes in less than a couple of minutes. And once that is completed, which is heavily automated, once that is completed in less than 15 minutes, we have seen customers seeing a huge red warning banner in Google Chrome, Safari, and Firefox, telling that there is a dangerous malicious site ahead. So don't click on it. So that's the level of automation and speed at which we operate. On a daily basis, we take thousands of takedowns, and that helps us in terms of working at scale with big customers. That's the differentiator. Basically, we don't have any some, for example, there are some vendors who have completely outsourced their domain takedown process to a third party. So we are completely managed in-house, and we don't have any third parties doing takedowns for us or domain disruptions for us.
Thank you so much, Setu.
Yeah.
We have one more question in the chat. Like, if it's a reseller model, who will manage the threats? From Bichu.
If it is a reseller model, the threats will be managed by the end customer. If it is a managed service model, the threats will be managed by the managed service provider. And if we have direct customer selling, the direct customers getting it as well. At the same time, we also have as a platform, we also have managed third party risk management provider. I mean, managed third party risk management offering being provided to a lot of different customers. Even that we do as well. You can come directly to us as well. Yeah. And the next question is from Pawan. Are you partnered with Etisalat ISP for such a takedown? Coming soon, man. Coming soon. Yeah, it's coming soon. Because we started with the US region and then Europe, and then we started getting heavily into EMEA and APAC regions starting from this year. So Etisalat and a lot of ISPs in India, a couple of ISPs big in Singapore. So all these things have been almost 70% done. We have 30% more that we need to wrap up in terms of ISP coverage. And once we do that, we'll be covering some equivalent to 60 or 70% of global solution providers, the DNS providers and ISPs on the globe right now.
Yeah, one more question is there from Pawan. Is this applicable for publicly exposed workloads or internal too?
Okay, that's a very good question. RiskProfiler deals with only one type of asset, external assets. It deals with only one type of threat, external threat. Anything that's internal, that's not our forte. We don't do that. But anything that's external, we definitely do that.
I think yes, we have done with the questions.
All the questions as well. Yeah, I'm just trying to check if I missed anything or not. We didn't. Yeah. Perfect, guys.
And it can be, yeah, quick thing, last thing. It can be sold as silos, right? Like different platforms can be sold as individual platforms.
So we do have a license module, and that license module can be sold based on the individual modules that you care. For example, you have a customer or you need only the third party risk management module. We can only give you the third party risk management licenses based on number of vendors you need. And if you need brand risk protection or digital risk protection, it's basically based on number of takedowns you want, how many keywords you want to monitor, how much of coverage do you want in social media, how in depth you want. So all these things factors, it's a bit complex in terms of licensing for the brand risk management. And talking about the external attack surface management, we do license based on number of active assets that are out there on the internet that belongs to your organization. So that's you can purchase all this as a fund, or you can get only the individual modules. Very good question, Rahul. Totally appreciate that.
Right. I don't see any further questions. So I think we'll wrap it up. Yeah, thanks a lot for all who have joined in. So we'll further connect via or the email. Yeah, 1 second. I think something which popped up. Can we have a demo or training for our pre-sales? For sure, Setu, we will do one thing. We will connect after this webinar. We'll be sending out a thank you mailer for all who has joined in, and we'll take it up from there. Thanks, Setu, for your wonderful presentation and for your time or the session. Yeah.
Thank you so much for organizing it. Totally appreciate it. Take care, guys. Bye-bye.
Thanks.
All right. Thanks all. Thank you.